I'm Gillian Perkins from Get Living, Raw Foods and Wellness Coaching. Today we're going to be making chocolate scones, or if you live in North America, chocolate tea biscuits. One memory that I have as a child is going on our Sunday afternoon drives with my parents and stopping at these beautiful tea gardens where you could get scones, jam and cream. And I do believe in bringing some of these beautiful foods that remind us of our childhood or just have some great memories to it and creating healthier options. So today I'm using different ingredients that is very different from your white flours, of course, that you'd be making your original scones with. But I'm replacing it with ingredients that are actually going to give you the best and the full benefit of nutrition that our bodies need, because it's all about eating foods that are tasting fabulous, but also are going to do something wonderful to our bodies and it's going to give us life. Instead of eating foods that are going to kill us and dead food, but we're going to eat foods that are going to give us the life that we need. So the first ingredient we're going to use is buckwheat. Now buckwheat is a pseudo grain. It's actually not a grain. It's actually a seed, and it has one cup of buckwheat gives you 6 grams of protein and 5 grams of fiber. What's not to love, right? It's gluten-free, of course, and it's non-allergenic, which is very good for a lot of us who have some diet restrictions. And because of the high fiber, it does improve heart health. And because of the high fiber as well, it's going to help with weight loss as well and helping you feel more satiated longer. Now, it's not a keto, it does have carbohydrates, so it's not your first grain or seed that you're going to have on your keto. It may be later on in your keto diet, but it does help to balance your blood sugar because it's a very slow, and obviously because of the high fiber, it's slowing your blood sugar intake down. So it is a fabulous grain or seed, and what I've done, I've soaked this overnight and allowed it to sprout. And if you looked very closely, you'd see little sprouts at the end of each seed, which is very hard for you to see. And then I've drained the water off, and it gets very gelatinous. So I just rinse it a little bit before I'm going to use it as well. So the reason why I've actually sprouted is that I want to release the enzymes and to help with the phytic acid and the oxalic acids that we deal with our nuts and our seeds and our grains as well. And because it just helps to be more easily digested in our body. We are using a high-powered blender, and you can try your other blenders if you don't have such a good one, but it is worth the investment. If you want to invest in your health, this I would suggest is your first item you should try and purchase. I use a Vitamix, but there's other, depending on what countries you live in, there's all different types of really high-powered blenders that will help and do this. And the reason why I use the high-powered blenders is because it actually really mixes your different types of ingredients when you need them to be mixed. We're going to be adding zucchini. Can you imagine zucchini in your tea biscuit, or your scone, which is very great. It's also called courgette if you live in anywhere else other than North America. And zucchinis are also great for weight loss. So I could say that these scones are great for weight loss. And so we're going to put the zucchini in. And also zucchinis, they have some great health benefits as well. And it's funny to imagine because zucchinis are quite tasteless and are very watery. Zucchini do help with any issues that you have with vitamin C deficiencies is one of their great things about them. We're also going to add in some water because the water will help it to mix as well. Now we're using maple syrup. You can use any type of sweetener. If you are not vegan, you could use honey. You can also use cane sugar or dehydrated coconut sugar if you prefer. I like to use maple syrup. I live in Canada and it's very easily available for us. Then I have my nut butter, and you could use any type of nut butter. This is almond butter, or you could use sunflower seed butter, you could use cashew butter, really whatever you choose to use. Then we have this cacao. Now this is cacao, not cocoa, a little different. Cacao is in its raw state. It hasn't gone through any roasting or any processing. So it's slightly more expensive. But the reason why I like this one is because it has less processing that's done to it and it hasn't gone through any heating process. Actually, is the highest, plant-based foods is the highest in iron as well. And it has 80 times more antioxidants than blueberries. And we know how wonderful blueberries are for our health. And I call it a superfood because it has magnesium, great for us, especially women, for hormonal health and many other areas. I'm using today is sesame seed oil. You could use any type of cold pressed oil. You can use walnut oil, grapeseed oil if you prefer, and I make sure that it's cold pressed. Yes, it's expensive, but our health is worth it. And I do like sesame seeds because they do contain 60% oil, as you can see, which is great fatty acids, and has 20% protein in it. I have some Himalayan salt. You could use any type of salt. Blend it in my machine, and we're going to make it very runny. So it's going to be a little noisy. And because it's high powered, it's only going to take a few minutes. So you can see how I lift this up and I check to see if it's smooth enough. Of course, this is smooth enough, and it's very nice. And this has 3 types of gears. As you can see, if you saw me starting from here, I turned it on, and then I turned the gears all up to 10. So I can, depending on what I'm mixing in here. So definitely is a great machine. And we are going to add psyllium husk. Now, interesting, this is high in fiber. Also, our zucchini is great for weight loss, and you're going to see the vein of weight loss and helping us to feel more satiated, which is what you want. If you're not feeling satiated, you're going to start to pick at different types of food, and you might even choose foods that you wouldn't normally do if you allow yourself to get too hungry. And in part of my coaching, I teach you how to recognize those signs and know when to start preparing your food, so you don't get this ravenous, crazy hungry where you open your fridge and you'll end up eating stuff you never planned on eating in the first place. So this is psyllium husk. Psyllium, it's high in fiber, it's all fiber, and it's really good for our digestive system. And so it's great for treating, even actually helps to treat diarrhea, great for lowering your blood sugar. Every time you know that there's a high fiber, it's going to have the same vein, help with weight loss, help with blood sugar, which will help treat diabetes, help with heart health. So very fibrous food that we're eating here, no wonder it's going to help with weight loss. Seeds have been, we call them activated or sprouted because they actually have gone through a soaking process. I soak them overnight and then I drain off the water, so usually about 8 hours or more. And then I put them in my dehydrator, which is here, and we will get to the dehydrator. So I get them really crunchy again. So this is for those who are wanting to get more into raw foods, but please don't let this discourage you from making this recipe. And also with the grain, if you don't want to use buckwheat, then by all means use oat flour. You can experiment with this quinoa flour, which would be higher in protein as well. And all these recipes you can change up if you want to. So we're going to put this on just briefly because I just want to mix it. The nuts are there more for texture, so I don't mind them a little crunchy in the mixture. One thing about psyllium husk, it takes 1 part of psyllium husk to 9 parts of liquid to help it to get to solidify. We're going to put this mixture into our bowl. You're going to see how easy this is to make. Of course, having the tools help. Also, if you are going to use oats, I use the oat kernel, and that you want to do this whole sprouting process as well. If you just want to use just regular oats or make your own oat flour, you could do that, but then you'd want to be careful on maybe lessen the liquid that's in it as well. So I suggest try and make it like this first, the way I'm doing it, and then experiment how you would like. We are going to add in our almond flours. We're getting our beautiful oils. Those were walnuts I used, but you could use any type of nuts that you want. I'm using almond nuts, which is great, high in protein. And I'm going to use coconut flour as well. Coconut flour is wonderful for helping with the psyllium husk to bind the ingredients together. So this is not, we're not baking this, of course. It's going to be going in our dehydrator, but don't worry, don't turn it off, because I will show you how you can use the oven with this. All my recipes, I'm always, as much as I can, I'm going to show you the alternative way of doing them in the oven. I like to use my dehydrator because I get maximum nutrition from it. But as you can see already, you're getting all the beautiful fiber and the protein, which is not destroyed on heat. It's more the amino acids we're looking for that help to create protein in our body. Now we're going to leave this for a few minutes and allow it to solidify, to get a little thicker, about 5 minutes. And while that's sitting here, I'm going to make some blueberry jam. You could use fresh blueberries. These were frozen blueberries that have thawed. You could use them straight from the freezer. And we're going to put in our maple syrup. You can see I'm using, and you can see I'm not actually using a lot of sweetener in my products. And the scones, if you would like them sweeter, by all means add more sweetener in. But we just want it to be more palatable and just taste a little delicious. These are chia seeds. You could use them ground. Great for fiber. There you go again. Good oils as well, your omega-3 oils. It's going to be a little runny, but you leave it in the fridge and it will thicken. And of course, blueberries, great antioxidants as well. So we're going to leave this for a few minutes, and I'm going to wait until it thickens a bit. This has taken about 5 minutes. You can see it's just a little thicker. You can use your hands if you like and to mix things in. Now there's a couple ways we can do this. Now it's just going to go in my dehydrator. This is a dehydrator sheet, and here we have the mesh that goes on top. If you buy your dehydrator, it will come like this. You do have to buy the Teflex sheets, that would be extra. I'm using the Excalibur, but there are different types. You do not have to use, of course, the Excalibur. I do like the Excalibur. This has 9 layers, because when I'm doing my dehydration, I actually do a lot at one time. If I'm doing my nuts and seeds, or making stuff, because I do also provide stuff for the markets, then I have a few of these machines going. A couple things you can use to scoop out. You could use a larger ice cream or scoop and put on there. You see this round ball, so you just want to tap it down so it looks more like a scone or tea biscuit. Another way you could do it, this is called a Wonder Cup. Love these cups. You can measure how many cups you want, and you get the measurement always the same. So you just put it on here, smooth it out, and you can see how easy that is. And I'm going to put this in the dehydrator. It's going to be at about 118 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to leave it for about 12 to 15 hours. You can feel them. Them firm on the outside, but nice and soft in the inside. Now, if you want to do them in the oven, I would suggest getting a baking tray and doing however you'd like. You could also just use them with your hand, of course. You want to put the oven on your lowest heat. My oven goes at 170 degrees. It left for 4 hours until I got what I was looking for. And so you can get the same effect. You're going to lose some of the antioxidants that are in there, but we're going to get some beautiful antioxidants from our fresh blueberries. You can make strawberry jam, of course, as well. And then we're going to put them in the dehydrator and turn it on. So I've made a batch of scones already. And we're just going to, so you can see how these are. And you can see how nice and moist. You can see the nuts as well. And get our nice blueberry jam. We have a little bit of our cashew cream. And if you go onto my website, you will see a recipe for cashew cream. These recipes are on my website. So I usually have these on hand for when I have company coming, or when I'm just feeling a little bit of comfort and just needing that scones, jam and cream. Thanks for joining me, and please look down below and for the recipe, click on that. It will take you to my recipe and blog site. And also you can subscribe. There's a little button. You can subscribe and you'll be contacted as to when my videos are coming out. So stay healthy. And please remember to follow me.